Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for returning subscribers and members. What we do here, if you are new, is we react to the most disturbing and creepy videos from the internet and we go through the latest. If you like what you see, don't forget to sub up, turn on the notifications, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. With that being said, let's roll.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
Okay, that did not look natural.
What if I told you that Corey Feldman and Charlie Sheen are one and the same? You know how Corey Feldman had these allegations against Charlie Sheen. When you actually look at a side-by-side comparison of these two, they look exactly alike. Everything lines up. They look like the same person. Even right here, Corey Feldman looks pretty much like Charlie Sheen right here alone. I know I'm not the only one that sees this. And then even when Corey Feldman played in a movie called Lost Boys, he looked eerily similar to Charlie Sheen. There is a reason for this, because the world is a stage, and this is central casting.
Okay, that did not look natural. Wow, that looks scary. Imagine being there, seeing that coming towards you. I saw another video, but I couldn't download it and put it on, unfortunately. But it was closer, and it was, yeah, it was looking like a doomsday type cloud coming towards the shore.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes,
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in
Should the
this.
human race survive?
This is the guy that's basically running America from the back room, and he can't answer whether or not humans should exist. Okay, he's got his tentacles everywhere, all over Trump's office, from people like David Sachs in the Office of Science and Technology Policy to companies like Palantir. If you remember, they're creating a master database on all of us, down to Doge and all the way up to the Vice President, J.D. Vance. He's all over Trump's cabinet as well, from the Department of Defense to the Department of State, Department of Energy, also the Department of Health and Human Services. Let me just read some quotes from this insane interview called Peter Thiel and the Antichrist. Here he's talking about trans, and he says, quote, "The critique is not that it's weird and unnatural. It's, man, it's so pathetically little. And okay, we want more than cross-dressing or changing your sex organs. We want you to be able to change your heart and change your mind and change your whole body." What the He also told the story of when he was at PayPal and he took his entire company to a, quote, freezing party, and that you could freeze your whole body or just your head. And this part where he's asked whether fusing humans with computers is heretical from a Christianity perspective, and he says, yeah, I don't know. I think the word nature does not occur once in the Old Testament. And so there is a sense in which the way I understand the Judeo-Christian inspiration, it is all about transcending nature. Maybe I'm just the simpleton here, and I'm the one who doesn't get it, but I don't think we should all become computers.
Simple question, I think. Should humans survive? I'm pretty sure that should be a yes if you're a human being, because you're talking about yourself. Right? Does he put himself in that type of... I don't know. That's crazy. Bonkers.
What's up, everybody? I just want to let y'all know there's some kind of underground water ship, whatever, right there. And there's 3 more right there. Coast Guard y'all out there monitoring it. They're trying to get everybody off the ocean. Somebody else made a video about this yesterday. There's people in the ocean still. I don't know why they're still out there, but there's water ships out there, and there's underground stuff out there, and the Coast Guard's all out there. They're trying to get it under control. I just want to let y'all be aware. Be safe.
What in the yellow submarine is going on there?
What is the truth about the assassinations in your state of a couple Democratic lawmakers? There's lying around it. What's the truth?
It's Saturday, June 14th, 2 in the morning, and this shooting spree begins. Vance Belter is the man who is charged now with the assassination of Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark. What we know is that he first arrives at Senator John Hoffman's home, the home he shares with his wife, Yvette. Their adult daughter happens to be in town during this, and Belter is dressed as a police officer. He's wearing also a latex mask. He has a flashlight, arrives at their door saying, "Police, open up." He's shouting. It's very chaotic, and basically this is
2 in the morning?
2 in the morning.
Man.
They open their door to him, and he starts shooting. Senator Hoffman is hit multiple times. His wife hit multiple times. His daughter heroically calls 911, tells the police it's Senator Hoffman that's been shot. And this, in a way, I think sends a message to the rest of the surrounding agencies that this could have something to do with legislators, or perhaps people are being targeted, to look for this person, obviously. We know now that Belter stops at 2 more homes, legislators that are not home. At one point, he encounters a police officer in New Hope. That officer actually approaches his vehicle. He is in a vehicle that looks like a squad car, an SUV squad car, goes so far as to outfit it with police lettering actually on the license plate. It says police on the license plate. A light bar, all the things you would look for in a squad. This New Hope officer rolls up next to him. He is looking straight ahead and does not, acknowledge the officer at all. She then rolls her window up and continues on to this lawmaker's home. So there's some questions about how was he not apprehended in that moment. This is when he then continues to the former House Speaker, DFL House Speaker Melissa Hortman's home. At this point, the police catch up to him, the Brooklyn Park Police Department. They are doing a welfare check basically on the Hortman home, saying, she doesn't live that far away. We should go to the Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman's home. And they get there, shots ring out, but from what we understand, between the police and Belter, somehow Belter still gets inside the Hortman home. Mark is killed, and then they find Melissa's body inside the home as well later on.
So the police are there for the shooting?
They are.
So how did he get away?
Still a lot of questions about that.
What?
Whoa, that sounds very suspicious if you ask me.
Questo pure un vertice importante, tanto chiaramente per un messaggio molto importante. Mi pare di avervi detto.
Non c'era stata la reazione di Trump.
Sono politiche espansive.
Ma come faremo a produrre proietti di terra armati?
Scusi, con il presidente Trump è riuscito a parlare ieri sera anche del tema dazi?
Fino al 10% dazi. Iani ha detto che va bene così. D'accordo. Impegnatissima per ottenere questo risultato.
Aumenti sostenibili, ha detto.
Il Parlamento, lei che mandare il presidente per fare la colonna europea.
Sì.
Whoa, what in the malfunction is going on there? That is looking like someone's got a Neuralink chip in their head and it ain't quite playing ball.
What the fuck? Traffic, send help. Darren Brown is a predator, send help. Send help. I'm being trafficked by a predator, the police are helping him, send help. This is right next to Canonbury Station.
Okay, I feel like the message is pretty clear. I think somebody might need to go knock on the door and go see what's going on. Very least call the police, send them there.
Did you know that Avicii had a single ready to drop just before he died that never got released, called Dun Diddy? Swedish DJ Avicii passed away in 2018. It was reported that he had allegedly taken his own life with a broken wine bottle. But Avicii's passing has never sat right with the whole world, still to this day. And this is where things start to get suspicious. Before he passed, Avicii had started to expose Hollywood. He had also tried to expose P. Diddy for sex trafficking, which kind of makes you wonder what was in that unreleased song. Avicii had started to drop a lot of symbolism, even right up until that very last song. In the music video for Better Days, you see a van being driven out with people in the back. Billionaires pull up to choose who they want. You then see kids running away, running through the desert. This video was a scream for sex trafficking. 6 months later, Avicii had died. But this is where it gets even more suspicious. Avicii was allegedly working on a documentary called The Silent Children. The documentary was set to expose Hollywood and all of the sex trafficking. He then died. He wasn't working alone. Also allegedly working on this documentary was Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. He was then also found dead, self-inflicted death. American singer Chris Cornell was also allegedly working on this documentary. He was also found dead, self-inflicted death. Anthony Bourdain, also working with them. Guess what? Also found dead, self-inflicted death. Now, while some people call this nothing more than a conspiracy, every single person who was allegedly working on that documentary is now no longer here to tell the tale. The fact is, Avicii did suffer from anxiety and depression. He struggled in the industry. He was overworked and he was battling the dark side of fame. By 2016, he'd even chosen to retire from touring. He was done. But isn't it suspicious that every time we hear of a celebrity trying to expose the industry, they vanish? Nothing will ever convince me that Avicii's death did not involve some form of foul play. And it's a shame, because he was a legend.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going on with people that try to expose certain things. They don't last on this earth for long, do they?
Listen up. I want you to watch what I'm about to show you, and then let me discuss it and tell me this is not the mark of the beast.
Today, what we have is 1,000 electrodes in the motor cortex, the small part of the brain that you see in this animation called the hand knob area, that allows participants to control computer cursors as well as gaming consoles. Next quarter, we're planning to implant in the speech cortex to directly decode attentive words from brain signals to speech. And in 2026, not only are we going to triple the number of the electrodes from 1,000 to 3,000 for more capabilities, we're planning to have our first blindside participant to enable navigation.
Did y'all hear that? In 2026, they will be implanting in the speech cortex. That is this area right here, the forehead. Right now, they have it on the side of the head. Soon, it will be in your forehead. Not only that, but did you hear him? He said in 2026, they will be able to enable navigation. Sounds very close to a tracking system.
Well, this isn't my reality. I don't know how we've got here. I don't get it. In my small 38 years of life, the amount we've come on is bonkers, to say the very least, people. We are on the precipice of having Arnold Schwarzenegger tearing back in time in a cyborg body to look for, what's his name? Sarah Connor, to save the world. It feels like we are heading towards that reality.
Oh, I know what just happened in China was bad, but check out what just took place in Pakistan, y'all. This whole village literally wiped off the map, y'all. Oh my goodness. And people are hanging on to this island like it is their last breath. And there's actually been people lost in this. Look at this, y'all. This water came out of nowhere like a thief in the night. Where's all this water coming from? And later on, the water became even more intense. And because the water's so strong, people got lost in the currents. That's crazy, y'all. The whole town is literally wiped off the map. Look at this. This is crazy, man. At first, it was all the wildfires, right? It was like the fog that started all this. Then the wildfires came, and now the flood is coming in. The sun is popping off as well. Look at that, y'all. Y'all can tell it was hot there too. I'm telling y'all, man, we are literally in the times of revelations, man. This is the cleansing of the great mother that's taking place. This is crazy, man. Literally everywhere. People are trapped all over Pakistan. This water literally came out of nowhere. Remember, everything has changed with the weather now, they told us, man. This is interesting. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Let's continue to get this shift. It's here. Peace out.
Yeah, I think we're probably more in a time where we're having weather manipulation used as warfare.
The Nazis were probably actually right about this. The moon is a reflection of the Earth, and it's basically a map in the sky. That's why in World War II, they were so obsessed with Antarctica, they wanted to go over there, because they wanted to see what other secret lands were passed over there. And I showed this video of the map about a year ago, the moon map reflection, German map, but all those other sections over there on the left, that's all ice. This is where we are on the right. That's Earth. And those are all of our continents. But if you go anywhere outside of that, it's all ice because the sun has a like 26,000 cycle where here, this is the path of the sun over our continents. It's only in that quarter of the moon. And like in 2,000 years, it'll be over on the left side, and then those continents will all thaw out. But right now, they're all ice. So here's a more detailed picture of that map. Over on the right, those are our continents. And everywhere outside of it, that is all ice because the sun is not traveling in those regions. It's only in our section. But every 2,000 years or so, it slowly drifts into the next quarter of the moon reflection map. It's just a new land of continents, but they're all covered by ice because there's no actual sun over there to melt the ice that's on top of there. And that's why we hear about global warming happening and that the sea levels are going to rise, but that's only because the sun is actually changing position. It's not getting hotter, and it's going to be melting the ice over on the side continents. So the sea levels are going to rise. That's why we also hear about how half of Antarctica is freezing and half is warming up. That's because it's actually a giant ice ring. It's a circle. So one side of it has more sun and one side has less sun. So that's why it doesn't really make too much sense when they say one half is warming up and one half is freezing, but it's just because of the position of the sun.
Yeah, I mean, if we was free to roam anywhere we wanted to, like Antarctica, for instance, and go and see things for ourselves, then, you know, we could go and see it for ourselves. But because all this stuff is protected and we can't do that, it makes me very paranoid and actually think that there is something to this, that there is more land above or beyond the whatever it is, ice wall, or, you know, a big gate where you go in and you've got some giant land, or I don't know. What's going on in Antarctica? That is the big thing for me. 50 countries or whatever it is, they've all agreed nobody can go there. They can't agree on, you know, what color the sky is, let alone agree on all sharing that land. Look how much everything's been invaded and stuff. Yeah, something's going on over there. And the moon looks like it's giving something away, because it does look very similar to the map with extra land.
Sí, esa es casa actual. Sí, nosotros. Es que esta hace más está haciendo más espectáculo. Esta está más dando habitación. Sí, pero nosotros han hecho unos cruces. No digo.
¿Cómo se ve ahí?
La Ferrera. Ya tú sabes.
Okay, so we have a helicopter trail now, do we? We got to contend with. What was coming out of that? It's very nefarious looking. Whoa, okay. There was something clearly invisible going on that we couldn't see, but the camera seemed to have picked some glitch up. No idea what it was. Probably a message from the Anunnaki, from what I'm hearing.
What the fuck is that, bro? What?
Well, that is something out of Star Trek right there. I don't know what I've just seen there, but beam me up, Scotty, I think the phrase is, but that could have changed if there's been a Mandela effect in this reality. I think it was beam me up, Scotty, wasn't it? Beam me up or beam me up? I don't know.
So now the Anunnaki are communicating with people through their smart TVs. And you want to know why? Because they said why. They're at war. They're here and they're in the middle of a galactic war. If you've noticed, there's been loud booming noises going off in New York City. They can't figure out why. You know, even though it's getting close to 4th of July, it's not fireworks. Then you got these orbs in a row pink, red, blue, all in a row. And then you got these meteor showers. It's funny because I got a DM from a girl on the 17th who said she's been dreaming about these meteor showers. Right? Every night, every single night, and said that she finally came to the conclusion that she's a revolutionary trying to save people during wars and apocalypses, and said that these aren't meteors at all. It's advanced alien technology. They're missiles. They look like meteors when they come down. It's just remnants of alien technology. Yeah, so they're fucking at war. I believe them. I believe every fucking word they say. And you know why? Because it fucking makes sense and it fucking adds up.
It's funny because I've not looked into the Anunnaki and the planet Nibiru that much, but I've heard bits and bobs, bits and bobs off of TikTok. And I've seen a lot of stuff, which when I've heard these bits and bobs, it actually, you can kind of put it together and it makes a little bit of sense. So the red planet, we've seen the red planet in multiple videos from multiple different people that where the sun's out and then there's this planet out at the same time. Like that would be planet Nibiru. Then we've seen, message stations from the Anunnaki coming in through the TV. I don't think that would be the way they would contact us. So not sure. But yeah, there's just so much going in the sky. I've seen so many stars moving. I think stars actually that move they are something. We've seen all the orbs going on, either leaving or coming back. And yeah, maybe the Anunnaki is a legitimate thing. Maybe there is a planet Nibiru. Let's hope that we're not their slaves, because if it's them coming, then I don't think that's good for us.
Bro, have you ever wondered why pigs have eyes that look like human eyes? I guess their eyes do look like human eyes. No, why? This might blow your mind, and I read it somewhere. So you know how in the Bible Jesus casted out a legion of demons into pigs? They didn't want to go to hell, so he casted them into pigs? Wait a minute. Is that why Jesus calls pork filthy? I'm not sure, but something else. Pigs aren't able to look up into the sky. Their bodies won't allow them to look up. Almost like it implies they can't look up to heaven. Okay, whoa. And it's not just that. This next one's going to sound weird. I know it's going to sound weird. But they have interviewed cannibal serial killers before, and when asked what human flesh tastes like, they say it tastes like pork. Ugh. Wait, so you're trying to say that pigs are actually...
Human eyes and pigs. Yeah. That's going to put you off your dinner if you haven't pork tonight.
A bohemian is someone who does not live by the same morals and ethics that the populace does. And so they're saying that the people who lead this country meet in private because they don't live by the same morals and ethics you do. For the last 2 weeks of July, from July 15th to the end of July, they meet for 2 weeks every year. And some of the most important movie stars, national leaders from around the world, and they say it's the only place that enemies, so-called enemies on both sides of a war, can meet quietly behind the scenes and be friends.
So they go out for this 2-week period of bonding and socializing.
And chit-chatting and getting together to decide what war they're going to have next time and who's going to be the enemy and who will be the good guy. And remember, war is good business.
Now we have pictures with the president with his hand stretched out holding
a red rose. The symbol of the red rose implies not only socialism and communism, but a secret society operating behind socialism and communism that uses a red rose. It's not enough to say these things. You really must show the pictures so that people will see that what we're talking about here are symbols and emblems.
Yeah. It's that simple. War is good for one select group that control everything. It's not good for us because it's the people that go to war that get killed. And it's going to also have an effect on people being able to make money because, things are getting blown up and you're able to leave and blah, 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 move all around and you're disorientated. So you're confused. You can't try and actually come to the equation that we live in a slave system. except for a very select few of people. It's scary, really. It's just very similar to what a recession is. Like the recession that you have is manufactured, in my opinion. It is like you have inflation, and it's basically designed to have a recession, and it only affects 99% of people that are starting to gain wealth to knock them back down. It's to control wealth, basically. So if you've got wealth, you do not need any help from the system. You know what I mean? It's a sad world we live in, really. I'll give you an example. You could borrow £25,000 tomorrow at the bank, like that, if you want to go and buy a car or go on holiday and spend it all up the wall and pay interest back on it. But if you want to go and set a business up and make money, you're going to have to go through T's and C's. You come out at the end of it with grey hair, aged 20 years, just to try and get a loan for that. So it doesn't make sense. And then the absolute shizzle show of a deal that we have with taxes is, I'm not even going to get into that.
January 2026, every baby born in the U.S. will get a digital ID at birth. Not just name and date. We're talking fingerprints, retina scan, even DNA. This ID will be required for school, hospitals, even phone apps. And parents, you don't get a choice, it's federal law. Some states say, no digital ID, no health insurance. Supporters call it protection. Critics call it control. So what do you think, child safety or a lifetime of surveillance? Comment below and follow before this becomes your reality.
Well, you got to wonder about Project Stargate or Stargate projects, whatever it is, the new one that Trump's just released that's got £600 billion going towards artificial intelligence. You've got to wonder what projects are going to come out of that. Yeah.
मशीन चलाने की कोशिश कर रही है, मशीन को बस में कर रही है। भाई भाई पीछे आ रही है भाई भाई चलो।
For those of you who think that this sign represents Rock Nation and not something else, then why would Beyoncé be so quick to put her daughter's hands down the second she realizes what she's doing, especially at a time where the music industry has been so silent?
Oh, wow. Okay. Symbolism at an early age. And yes, I would agree. Putting a hand down was, it's a bit sus.
Oh, what was that? So I was headed to the store with my dad at 12:24 today. There's a cross in the sky. You can see it right there on the middle right-hand side of the screen. I was trying to get that on the phone and saw this. Look over there on the left side of the screen. Like a fireball looking thing came flying down. See the bright flash right there. Boom. It was like went across the sky. The whole flash did. Maybe it came into the atmosphere. Not sure. Then it came streaking down. And the camera couldn't really pick it up, but I saw it that whole time. Boom, right there. Never seen anything like that. People were saying it was a meteor. I've never heard of a meteor in the daytime, but I guess it's going to happen in the daytime just as well as the night. On the other video I posted, people were saying that they felt it, they heard it. Some people thought it was like an earthquake. So I don't know, does that mean that it hit somewhere? Or when it comes into the atmosphere or whatever it did, do you just hear and feel something like that? If y'all have any input on it or knowledge of it, hit the comment section down below. Let me know what the heck you think it was and if you saw it and felt it.
That, my friends, is the remnants of a 4D war we're seeing in 3D. We think it's a meteor, or whatever they want to say, but really it's probably something to do with the 4D war. I think there is something going on. Some crazy stuff. The amount of stuff I've seen in the skies is telling me something is going on that we don't understand. But I want to understand it. I need to get out. I need to get out of my body. And I need to go check out the Galactic Federation. But yeah, on that note, it's the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you again.